sila naapektuhan.
Hindi, ibig sabihin, yun lang yung naging problema kasi may coach sila.
Okay, minsan yung idea ng mga players plus the coach hindi nagtutugma.
Tama.
Okay,
Hindi nagkakaugnayan. Parang yung kapon.
Ako, no comment ako niyan. Sir Jules, alam mo naman.
Nandun ako kagabi, nakipagkwentuhan ako eh.
Nakipagkwentuhan ka kagabi. Ang mga tama ako na merong something sa draft.
Hindi lang sa draft, meron na rin daw pala sa yung sa mga mismo mga player. Parang parang katamaran na.
Okay na yan. Tapos na sila. Tapos ka na anak. Sabi nga, tapos ka na anak.
Tapos ka na.
Pahinga ka na muna. Yeah, pero ito guys, tingnan natin last pick ng T1. Nakaabang tayo rito. Hero ni Ana o hero ni Zephyr? Hero ni Ana. Carry punch for the side of T1.
Sa bagay, ang ganda ng punch nga rito. Isang Eternous Road mo lang, wala nang damage yung 4 na hero.
Pasok yung strike dito
Pero strike nga, hindi, kaso
parang
Viper katapat.
1 milyong normal yata ang gagawin mo rito.
Ang dami, hindi.
Sakay Viper katapat, tama?
Yun nga Sa lane, bugbog ka talaga, 100% pag strike ka. Pero pagdating naman ng mid game, pag nagka-item ka, kaya mo sila. Kasi yun nga, syempre sa carry, gusto mo maganda yung
early mo. Tama. Kasi Viper katapat mo, 'di ba? Ang goal mo do sa slide, kailangan talaga medyo maaga-aga yung iteman mo kung gusto mo makasabay sa kanya.
Hindi na rin sila pwede magnaga.
Hindi na rin.
Kasi fudge.
Saka isang combo. Saka kahit combohin mo yata, walang mamamatay. 'Di ba? Kung hindi mamamatay itong fudge, I mean. So
PA siguro?
PA?
I think PA. Pero slide nga. So sabi ni Savage, no choice. No choice.
The No Choice Production, guys, by Talon Esports. The 80%, na sinasabi dito nitong si Mikoto. Tingnan natin, guys, kung tatama ba. Hindi naman, tinanong ko rin kay Kuko yun kasi pampainit ka ako Sinend ko sa kanya yung screenshot na yun. Sabi niya, malakas talaga sila, Seb. So, respeto for Talon. Talaga namang malakas naman talaga sila.
Malakas naman talaga yung Talon. Yun ang maganda ka talaga pag kuntiwang ka. Siyempre, pag
pero sinend ko yun para kumbaga mainit.
Mainit yung bakbakan ng dalawang teams.
Kumbaga uminit yung yung laruan ng T1. Siyempre, alam niyo naman, minsan pag normal game lang, okay ka lang pero
Thompson is smirking right now. It's like, what are these fools doing? They let the Morphling through. I got my 8th pick Morphling. I can now ban some pretty hefty counters. You mentioned about the Morph Earthshaker matchup as well. So Thompson in particular is incredibly happy.
Yeah, for sure. It was a little bit odd. That's certain. So now what can they look to do? Because you kind of also revealed like what your mid laner is going to be with picking up this puck. And not that it has a bad matchup against the Morphling, but you can't really pick some of these heroes that might be able to abuse the matchup a bit more. This is Talon that are going to have the last pick of this phase as well. Undying as well. Wouldn't be surprised if they got rid of the Primal Beast, but I suppose it's not too bad because you can still pick up that position 5 that's like an Oracle, for example. That's a great laning response to the Primal Beast if it's played as either a position.
I do think the one nice thing with Talon in regards to the mid matchup is that Thompson in the early game, he can kind of get active once Dragonlance is completed on the Morphling, but early game Puck is going to be able to make a lot of rotations, and the Morphling doesn't have this capability. So Talon could have a big advantage with Mikoto just being free to make movements to both side lanes, and that could really help out with finding early kills.
The thing with those rotations, though, is that you need to pick up a support that has a bit more damage. Earthshaker doesn't. There's a big reason why I
So, ito na nga sa top lane, Savage. Kailangan niyang ingatan yung kanyang posisyon dyan. Lalo na ito si Hyde. Kanina nakita natin na first blood na nga po siya dyan. Saka, naku, lumalalim yung creeps dito.
Yun ang kailangan hindi mangyari. Yung creeps lumalim, mapunta lagi doon sa Viper. Kasi as a Slurk, di ka makalapit talaga. Kahit anong mangyari. Pero to bottom lane, what do you think dito sa lane mangyari sa bottom? Parang match lang, no? BM, ES, kalinong Lion na...
Magkakaparman lang yata yan. Medyo maaga-aga lang item ng both course yan. Yung Pudge and BM. Tanong lang, sino yung mas makakaramdam, ano? Mararamdaman natin sa game natin. Pero, I think, alam naman natin na yung Pudge, kailangan talaga niya na magandang early game. Naku, Ana. Ito, mukhang tatry nila dito si KP. Tingnan natin, kaya ba nila patayin to? With dash, may hook pa ba?
Meron
ba? Mukhang tinitipid na lang, pero patay pa rin. Hindi na kinailangan yung hook dito na itong si Ana. And KP will fall sa may bottom lane.
Yun ang mahirap dito sa Pudge Lion. Hindi ka pwede bawat position. Hindi ka pwede magkabali dyan na lalapit-lapit ka kay Pudge. Pag titrama yun, nakita mo si BM. Pagkatong ni Ana, lumapit agad siya, nag-rat. O, wala na. Finish ka na.
Tama. And ito, Thompson, meron na rin siyang bote rito.
Si ES, tama naman yung ginagawa ni ES kung totoo sila eh. Ano niya, kinakat niya.
Kinakat lang.
Oo,
kukunin na, no?
Oo, kukunin para at least makalevel sila nung BM dito. Alam nila talagang strong lane to ng T1, itong Pudge Lion eh.
Sana all pag Pudge, strong lane, no? 2-0 guys na for the side of T1.
Sana ganyan yung Pudge now, ganyan. Pero to wala pa naman so far masyadong nagkabigayan sa top lane. Yung Slark, ilan na sila Slark?
Nako.
11, hindi, kung tutusin maganda pa yan, Lo. 11.
Pwede na, no?
Oo, parehas na ng Viper dito. Ibig sabihin, maganda yung ginagawa din ng post 5 ni Slark.
Nakikita ko kasi parang sila yung naghaharasan dito ni Seven, pero kailangan mag-back out muna dito ni Savage. Munti ka na siya doon, buti naka-pounce out siya.
Kaso yung lane, no, nakita mo talaga nakaangat lang.
Nako-control din ni Kuko yung lane na yan, no? Nako.
Ito grabe to sa mga pag gumamit ng bote, no?
Sulit no?
Oy, sulit. Nakita mo ba yung dati niya, yung Zeus? Zero mana na pulo. Dahil lang to sa tanggal-tanggal item.
Tayo, tinatamad na tayong ibababa yan, siyempre. Pero siyempre,
totoo lang.
Every stats counts daw, sabi rito ni Thompson. And, talaga naman pong nakakatansyahan dito yung both mid laners and Mikoto. Mukhang sisecure niya lang niya yung bounty dyan.
Mahirapan yung Pac dito. Walang pag-asa mamatay ni Pac si Morph eh.
Pagtuma
nga lang yung Morph.
Yan.
Yun lang.
Pero kailangan niyang ingatan din yung kanyang posisyon dito na i-slow siya ng bore. Kaso wala yung ES dito mga sir and Mikoto. Makakaligtas din.
T1
wala siyang bote. Walang laman yung bote niya.
Oo, T1 halos lahat nakakuha ng water rune. Wala Isipin mo kasi walang tutulong sa kanya.
And,
pero mamamatay siya rito.
Oo nga, mukhang mamamatay nga si Ana rito. Pero patay pa rin siya rito, nabigyan. Ay, wala. Nag-rotate si Whitemon sa may gitna eh. Talagang mayayari siya doon, no? It's time to go for KP.
Tsaka
Pati dito kay Q.
Naubos yung buhay niya doon sa may tower eh. And, okay lang. 1 death pa lang naman para kay Ana rito. Kailangan ngayon talaga, huwag nila siguro tingin ko, huwag nila paabutin sa point na magka-domi pa sobrang aga ng BM. Kasi may harapan sila eh. Kahit sabihin mo nga, Pudge katapat, yung BM, pag aga ng item niyan, mag-snowball yan eh.
And kaya pa rin yata patayin yan yung Pudge mamaya eh.
+1, Yung Slark,
Roar lang, no?
Roar. Yung Slark, pwede mag-TP dyan, mamaya. Kukuha ng attribute.
Pero ganun pa man, ang ganda ng tatlong course dito, yung ginagawa ng tatlong course dito ng T1, talagang namumunini sila. Pero at the same time, for talo naman din, parang nagkumukuha lang naman talaga sila dito ng experience muna no? Pero mas malakas sila sa level 6 dito eh. May yung potential nila makapatay, mas mataas kumpara mo di sa T1 na maka-level 6.
Kasi pampatay lang nila yung finger eh.
Tama.
Diba? Isang, samantalang dito sa
pwede mag-rotate lahat.
Talon, may roar, may coil, diba? May disruptor ulti. Yung
pero 5 minutes, meron ng Vanguard dito yung Pudge. Sir Jules, sobrang aga.
Sobrang aga nga.
Mukhang malabo na yata mapatay sa may bottom lane yan pag ganyan kaaga yung Vanguard.
Namatay pa yun, Lo. Isipin mo kung di namatay yun, 4 minutes Vanguard talaga.
Pero ito na, 6 na heroes yung nandito sa may gitna para lang i-secure. Yung rune na palabas, 6 minutes rune, kanina mo pupunta.
Tabo.
Naku, natakot na silang gumow and bottom lane. Nakakuha ni ni Mikoto yung Arcane Rune.
Hindi... Yun ang mga pinakaayaw mo talaga, yung mid players nyo na nakakakuha ng power.
Yung gitna para lang i-secure. Yung rune na palabas, 6 minutes rune. Kanina mo pupunta.
Tabo.
Naku, natakot na silang gumow and bottom lane. Nakakuha ni ni Mikoto yung Arcane Rune.
Hindi... Yun ang mga pinakaayaw mo talaga, yung mid players nyo na nakakakuha ng power.
Yung gitna para lang i-secure. Yung rune na palabas, 6 minutes rune. Kanina mo pupunta.
Tabo.
Naku, natakot na silang gumow and bottom lane. Nakakuha ni
Yun ang mga pinakaayaw mo talaga, yung mid players nyo na nakakakuha ng power.
You've got Nighttime to help with glimpses, you've got the Hawk to help with glimpses, you've got the Orb to help with glimpses. Talon are just going to run at T1. They have an incredible lineup to be able to do that. They have really good team fighting as well. Whereas I feel like T1, again, I think their only way to succeed is they need to be ahead. I don't know if that's going to be the case.
I think they're going to be ahead. I think they're going to be ahead in the laning stage. It's just a question of what you do after that. The one thing that it's going to be making me lean a little bit more towards your argument there with Talon is that while Thompson's spending this time farming on the Morphling, which we know they like to do, make a ton of space for him. He's one of the best heroes at being able to go into the jungle and be able to pick up some of that farm. You don't have great heroes at being able to
team fighting as well. Whereas I feel like T1 again.
Potential. They're going to be scouted out by KP. Probably see the fact that these ancients are warded up.
To battle.
Who would even take those ancients though? Maybe they're just assuming that they're going to go max out the wild axes on KP.
I suppose so, yeah. No one else would be able to take it, so maybe just trying to slow down the Beastmaster's game, which I do think like Beastmaster is a huge component to Talon's lineup. If he gets that early Helm of the Overlord, that's where the push can come from, and that's where the group up can come from as well.
The battle
Your potential
begins.
Wraith Pact as well, if that's a route he wants to consider. It looks like we'll have nothing crazy in regards to the bound. Will be a 2-for-2. Either side's able to get their wards out on the map as well, and we are all set, ready to rock and roll here. Game 1 for the upper bracket finals. Talon against T1, and what a mid matchup we've got.
The trial. Have a solid start to this one. Going to have any chances of taking towers and putting a lot more pressure on. They're on to hide for now, but damage. Where's the follow-up?
Oh, they should have the
Maybe
damage
Lightning
just in a
pick it up.
poison attack. Look at the kill. Zephyr's going to trade his life with running under the tower, but he's got enough movement speed, in fact, to get out of the aim of 23 Savage. So a great start for T1. The Viper can have some issues early. Get active beforehand.
It almost feels like this Orb of Venom was exclusively just to get that first blood, the one that Marcy's holding right now, because you really don't want to be going up and contesting against 23 Savage on his Slark. And I feel like Hyde, with his positioning, is going to be good enough that he's not going to be trading right clicks. Harass from afar with that Thunderstrike and look to make them use a lot more of that regen. Rather than using it onto Zephyr, yeah, just target Cuckoo. Make him feel a little bit more pressured.
Top lane is definitely going to be a bit difficult for Talon to play this lane. Savage, of course, can always get rid of the poison attack, but feels like the spam bar is going to be very difficult for them to deal with. The Disruptor's not a crazy laner as well, so I think this is...
KP's in a little bit of trouble.
Spike on top of KP, and they should be able to get the kill. KP recognizes this, so he's going to try and do as much damage as he can, but T1 already second kill on the board.
They're giving up a little bit. A little bit more towards T1's side, which is not what you want.
That you need to be able to play with the Pudge, because how much damage he's able to dish out early on in the lane. And Ana, he's just free farming. Like you said, all the lanes going very comfortably for T1.
Kodo's always going to do well in his mid lane, though. He's a very solid player. Up top, nice pounce away by Savage just to be able to get away from the aggression. But yeah, I think Makoto has probably been the biggest standout for mine from Talon so far these qualifiers. It really has been the mid's really shining, right? Even though they were eliminated, Bob on Execration was doing a fantastic job for his team, and Kodo, even when Savage has had a bit of a rough time, it never seems to be him pulling the team down.
Some of the voice lines, remember Kodo's trying to juke up his strike. Very interesting.
You can take
match.
the man out of OG, but you can't take the OG out of the man.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
Lane now. So we're going to be looking towards a power. They got 2 minutes until the spawn. That's where Puck really needs the advantage. And I do feel like Dire have this capability to be able to secure some of them. But Radiant, they don't have the worst heroes as well from being able to rotate. And we already see Zephyr trying to help secure one of the water runes for Thompson. And also they'll bring Whitemon as well to take the other one away.
Yeah. It's always what you need to be focusing on whenever you're up against the Puck, right? You are much less capable than a Morphling. He's got what, 4?
Ana is alone at the moment. Q's got the vision from afar. Another round of the axes as well as KP. He's going to get a little bit of revenge. Beautifully done as they see that Whitemon left the lane so they could get aggressive onto Ana's Pudge.
Good response coming through there. What I was saying before was you've got about a 14 damage advantage on the Morphling versus the Puck, so Puck needs those bottles to be filling his mana, just so that he's able to stay ahead on this net worth. Of course, no small camp to be able to play around with anymore either, so it makes it even more vital than it used to be. Ana just cheating, getting a little bit of extra golden experience coming through. Wanting to go straight into that Vanguard, just allowing him to stay perhaps solo in that lane a bit more, enable Whitemon to make a few more of those rotations towards mid.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
This may be used for Thompson, the way for me if he wants to try and catch up to Makoto, but the Pucker's got no resources to try and play with this full wave, so this could be a little bit of damage onto the tower.
This is what I was talking about, right? Like, it is so important for him to make sure that he's securing those power runes, otherwise he just can't farm. You've got Q here just trying to soak up a little bit of that experience so it's not wasted entirely, but Kodo used to be top of the net worth, and now he's fallen to, by the time this creep wave's done, 300 behind Thompson.
Look at this already, the supports are starting to rotate from top to bottom as well. Reed's going to be there, how important power runes are.
Scanning.
It's the one that gets lucky with the spawn though.
And just to see if there are multiple people nearby, he can obviously see hide, but that scan would be clipping anyone else that's coming through. It's on Q. Nicely done. Good attempt. Kodo was able to secure that somehow. Whitemon was guarding the bottom rune, but Arcane Rune being picked up. As soon as he's level 6, that might enable Talon to make a first attempt to go for a kill. Would have to assume it's on top, though. I mean, with that Vanguard being picked up on Ana, a lot more challenging to target him, so... In my eyes, Cuckoo's the one that they're going to need to focus on.
Yeah, it doesn't look like you're going to be killing off Ana with only 1 point in the wild axis here for KP. So top something that Makoto's going to be considering. Look at T1 playing very aggressively around mid. Zephyr and Whitemon still sticking around to try and put some pressure onto Makoto.
Doesn't it feel great to see Zephyr playing a much more active style? Like, he really made a name for himself playing, you know, his Treant, his Dawnbreaker, these style of heroes that are just hanging back a little bit and then joining into a team fight. But he has taken the notes coming through from Topsted saying, I need you to be active, I need you to run at their faces constantly, because that's what's going to make space for our team with Ana, great farmer, great laner, to be able to come out on top.
Look at the moves across the map as well. T1 cliff forward around mid. They were able to scout out Hyatt and Q's rotation. And instantly, once they saw this, they started to pivot their attention to top. Slark was alone. Oh, yep, he's going to be fine, but I was going to say maybe the Beastmaster's chased down. Actually, Ana, he's got a bit too far forward. They're going to glimpse him back under the tower. They've got the roar if required. Q should be able to get rid of the dismember instantly. The rest of Radiant are trying to TP down, but they're going to be a little bit too late to protect Ana. Close with the toss away, but Zephyr unfortunately not there fast enough. That is another big kill onto the Pudge.
A little bit too deep there on Ana. Understand you want to be trying to go for those solo kills, make the space wherever you can. The important thing is, though, Cuckoo is still left solo up on this top side of the map. Like, he has had a pretty decent lane without Marcy actually babysitting him a lot of the time. So he's already up to his level 6 at 8 minutes. He's going to be farming up this double wave that's coming into him. He's in a really good spot to actually be that tower pusher that I was wanting him to be.
Bottom wood does scout out Whitemon, so still T1. Okay, nice read from Whitemon's going to be able to get rid of that. Doesn't look going to be able to get anything out of this rotation. They are protecting Ana with the TP back in. They also see Makoto rotating down, so the vision early on from T1 has been really on point. They're gonna jump. Let's see if they got the damage to get the kill. Without the Earth Spike, they might be lacking. The rotation to now come out from Talon. They're going to jump on forward, targeting down Whitemon for the moment. An easy kill to the line, but you need to respect Ana. The Pudge is going to be dealing ridiculous amounts of damage once he's on top of the Talon members. As Zephyr will jump back in, close out from the Coconut, but where's the extra rotations out of team? It's just 2 members battling against the 3, and they do not have the numbers advantage to come out on top. And Talon will overwhelm T1 in their own jungle. Topson might solo kill Savage. Nicely done from
that makes it
Topson.
worth it.
Yeah, a bit of a silver lining across the map.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
Through all 3 cores towards the top. No Essence Shift permanent stacks coming out. More Savage coming through here, and I mean, this is why you got to get rid of the Morphling, right? Just the amount of flex that it provides to T1 is kind of insane. I also want a bit of a prediction from you, Aries. Are we going to see any TPs in that are immediately glimpsed back this game? I feel like someone's going to forget the disrupts in this game. It's not really a meta hero these days.
So yeah, someone will forget. We're still sticking around bottom. Can they rotate Topson? Yep, they're going to smoke. I do not believe he was under the Observe Ward. They are pinging out. They saw the Invis spawn and saw that someone took it without any vision of a hero in the area. So they know that they're smoking down. I was just singing the praises of T1's wards, but that ward from Talon potentially keeping them alive. Not keeping the Earthshaker alive, at least.
It's a valuable kill though, right? Like, this Shaker doesn't do anything early on. You know, you're going to have a good time as the Morphling. Viper can just get disposed away from a lot of the Fisher blocks, so I think just making sure that he doesn't get into those super early items to have that true teamfight impact is going to be the biggest deal for him.
Not the Helm Dome creep. Hyde doesn't have the level 6 just yet. He needs some TPs coming down from Talon. Oh, Hyde just got the ultimate. The experience is enough to lay the Static Storm down. They'll glimpse Zephyr back out of the T1 tower. Another easy pickings for the side of Talon. They'll chase down the support. A perfect timing for the Static Storm to come out.
Radiant structures.
Now, I might sound a little bit premature here, but Hyde is 3-1-3, and he's got a lot of net worth. He's got into the Arcane Boots, but is this a game where he goes Aghanim Scepter? like really early and just commits to it? I kind of feel like it is, right? Because Morphling's going to be looking to play around that Manta style as much as he can. Morphling's going to be looking to buy a BKB to be able to withstand the eventual static storms that come out. So like, he might be able to get a lot of success out of this. Ana doesn't get sent all the way back to the base. Nearly did. Walk on away. Look at all the information this Hawk's providing as well. Seeing that Whitemon's there to be able to punish any kind of people that are just lagging behind a little bit. Another important factor is the fact that Whitemon...
Good lane Thompson!
I'll take that.
Oh my lord. Thompson Morphling. Uh-oh. Oh no.
Just
3
ban
and
it.
0. Yeah, I mean, they
ban it.
obviously felt like they had a way to be able to address it. But
You can
not
think
to
that
be.
all you want. It might not be the reality of the situation, though. Mid lane, got a couple of seconds left until the static storm's available, but yeah, but he's just looking to run in to hide. Great Earthspike coming through.
Don't delude yourself.
So now, Talon, they need to be speaking about how they're going to be able to address the Morphling in regards to this game. You know, potentially, hold that thought, KP. Close it on. They've got a really good position to take the fight. They're going to try and get the coil. They're avoiding Thompson at the moment, dealing with the supporting cask, and now they can go back to the Morphling with the perfect chain control, but it's not enough. Just TP out. Thompson, he'll make it away, but still, T1, they do lose both their supports in that skirmish.
Both of the supports, but both of the cause of farming,
Ana.
although Ana,
Glimpse
yeah,
back higher. He's already got the glimpse maxed out. So Ana just stepping a little bit too far forward. The TP's come out. And this is going to be another death onto the pike. And he doesn't even bring Q into the grave with him.
Would have been a nice solo kill if he was able to do that, but again, like, what is this actually netting? All of these kills. At least this time around, you get the permanent agility onto Savage. That's fine. But all 3 of T1's cores are sitting at the top. You haven't taken any towers at yet at 13.5 minutes. It might be going down now that this T1 tower is being hit into by the Beastmaster, but I feel like T1 still feel like they're in a pretty decent spot. Coming in. He's hanging nearby just for that glimpse if you're revealing a little bit too early on Cuckoo.
It's a big kill if they can get the disruptor straight away, and they will. And Zephyr's going to be able to pounce on forward as well, catching out KP on the retreat. Great defense from T1. They will lose their tower, but they're going to make sure they can catch up some of the members on Talon before they can get away.
It's a lot of valuable gold coming through from a couple of killing sprees, actually, right? Being fed through. Hide had died previously, but it's still a lot of gold, and yep, there we go. They're able to take away another one of those T1 towers. They're able to start invading the jungle. And a couple of these sentry wards just to de-ward the general area that they're farming around. But again, if you're maxing out the wild axes, I'm not sure who was really going to be taking these ancients anyway.
Drunk off from Talon. Hobson showing mid. It's probably going to have to be a fissure into a static storm, and that's going to be exactly the case. A beautiful way for Talon to be able to set up, and they should have the damage to bring him down. Great read from Talon on how they need to execute that pickoff.
Oh, your man Hyde gets the mega kill streak. He's going into the 4-star, but give me the Aghanim Scepter, bro. It's going to enable a lot more of those sorts of plays.
It's a hard call, because it is a very good 4-staff game.
Yeah, but
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
Position 5.
I get it. Alright, well, Thompson, first death for him of the game. Kind of mentioned the question before, but now we got a little bit more of a break. We can go back to it. What do Talon need to do to address this incredibly farm Morphling? Is there items we need to see out of them? Is there maybe a different sort of play style for them to be able to deal with Thompson?
No real natural spirit vessel builders, which is probably one of the main ways that you could have used to address it. Got the Mantis, the Yasha finished up, so he could go into Manta style if he wanted to, but Sanj coming through next, so no, it doesn't feel like they've got great ways to be able to do it. It seems like it's going to need to be around all these big ultimates coming back to back. At least Q has recovered his net worth somewhat. He's only 700 gold away from that Blink Dagger. 16 minutes in, so it's still a little bit slow, but you're going to have that surprise factor for the Morphling if you catch him with the superior vision that you should have. You know, you're playing with a Beastmaster and a Slark, not only giving yourself vision, but having a really Euro to be able to make sure that the enemy doesn't have it on you.
Dire's top tower is under
It
attack.
does seem like Talon having some difficulty. I see Ana under the ward. With heroes not defending
Dire's
top,
top
that'll
tower
maybe
has
be
It's a good indication that
Radiant's
something's
middle
going
tower
on.
is under attack.
Yeah, I was going to say Talon, it's kind of awkward because the Beastmaster is wanting to finish this Helm of the Overlord, but you also want the Earthshaker who's trying to finish this Blink Dagger. So it's a bit difficult for them to be able to divvy up some of the farm across the map. And, well, one person we haven't really spoken about is Cuckoo. This guy is incredibly farmed. Only 2 kills participated with for the Viper, but second in the net worth, and he's already got the Hurricane Pike, but this could be his first death. Proto's going to start forcing reaction.
Right? Be able to get away from some of these, fissures and weird sort of situations. They've enabled him to be really greedy in this game, right? Most of the time, Cuckoo just goes for these, like, crazy run-at-you style heroes like the Death Prophet. And, I mean, it's not run-at-you, but to a lesser extent, very aggressive with the Nature's Prophet. But the Viper, much
Top lane,
more...
they're setting up on Savage. Gonna get the stun and the burst from Thompson. Beautifully done. The ward just scouting him out so they could instantly move over there to bring it down. 23 Savage, but look at the reactions out of Talon. They want to try and get back. They see Thompson farming up the wave. Again, it's going to need to be a fissure into the Static Storm. Dakota's going to try and give them the vision, but with the smoke popping, they've got the ward, and with the instant TPs are coming out, this is not going to be good for Talon. The Static Storm only controls one, so Thompson's got a free fight, and Talon, they need to get out. A coil will cover the retreat, the glimpse as well. Looks like Talon might escape. They're going to Delta split. Hide and Q, a little bit slow, but they will make it back to the tower.
Going to be able to escape, but you just use your Static Storm, you use your Dream Coil. So now how are you actually going to take these fights with your superior team fight? It's going to enable Ana to get up into that next item. He could go ahead and purchase the Blink Dagger if he wants to, but he's already got the point booster. Straight into that Ags for himself. Great way to deal with the Beastmaster, provide a little bit more of that AoE damage in team fights. And yeah, even Zephyr could just put himself all the way up here next to this tier 2 tower without too much fear of dying.
Do we feel like T1 are going to be strong enough to be able to contest this timing that's about to come out shortly for Talon? You got the Helm of the Overlord, and you are very close to the Blink Dagger on Q as well.
I think they can if you've got the Aghanim Scepter on Pudge, right? You should have a decent time with dealing with it. Silence on bit, and Thompson thumbed up.
Top lane where they're moving. Q just walks in, fissure into Echo Slam, a couple of rotations, and that gives him enough gold for the Blink Dagger, but it is the Echo Slam on cooldown for Talon.
And the Roar as well. So again, like, it's all well and good to get these kills. You might be like, all right, we're ahead on the kill score, but going to be able to do with this these kills that you've accumulated? You're behind on net worth, you're behind on towers, you don't have cooldowns to be able to play around either. So it's a little bit awkward where they might miss this timing that they've got to play around. Like, what good is a Blink Dagger if you don't have the Echo Slam to play around with it for the next 2 minutes?
For Radiant, they're going to be playing with a Scepter on Ana, and a Cuckoo will be a little bit away from the BKB. I've been very impressed with the vision game from either side. This was Board from Talon at the moment towards a triangle, scouting out Thompson's farming rotations. Radiant with the ward by the small camp down bottom was able to scout up the Slark, so there's both sides with some more peculiar wards, but they're getting a lot of information.
Savage is holding on to the 1 sentry for now. Lane, there's a lot of heroes clumping up there. I mean, even that Observer ward up top that scouted out Savage for that kill, the Zephyr as well as Thompson being able to go in onto him, it's still there. So a little bit surprising that it wasn't dewarded. Here we go. This is the smoke. Trying to take advantage of this timing. Primal Roar's back up for KB.
They're going to see Ana.
Back up the storm.
Can they blow him up though? Ana's pretty goddamn tanky and close to the T2 tower, and he's actually going to run at them. Ana lands the hook, and now Thompson's going to TP in for the Static Storm. Thompson, he doesn't get the attribute shift off, but Talon, they're not going to commit into the middle. The retreat's been called, a 1-for-1. They still actually get rid of Ana towards the back line. As high, that was enough damage to get the kill, so that will favor Talon in the end.
Yeah, I think they did deal with the Helm of the Overlord creep eventually coming through there, but oh, dodge away there on Makoto once again. But yeah, he was silenced for so long with the Static Storm, with the puck, so he wasn't able to turn off the rot and ended up actually dealing so much extra damage over to himself. Why, instead of the BKB, sorry, instead of the Blink Dagger, he's got that BKB coming through next. for Ana on the Pudge. He really wants to be able to respond to the leash, to the recoil, to the silences that are just coming through. All you really need to worry about then at that stage is the primal roar.
Radiant's courier has been
Yes.
killed.
Scouting out a little bit. The Hawk.
They just completed the
Radiant's
BKB as
bottom
well
tower is under attack.
from 23 Savage, so it's a big item now to enable him just to run into the middle. He will still be very vulnerable into the instant hex from the Lion, but without a blink from Whitemon, that could be difficult. Ana's Dismember as well is something that he has to fear. Garp High, great position to pop the smoke. They're going to wait for him to the high ground. Instead, they'll turn to high, try to bring down to the shot dog, but they might be able to block the Savage. Savage didn't pop the BKB, ignored the Shadow Dance as well. And Cuckoo, he'll tip in for it. That frees up the pit now as Tier 1. They're going to be able to go back and claim it. But Makoto, unless he has something else to say,
Shaker, where's Shaker?
they've got the Earthshaker, but he's nowhere to be seen. They're not going to jump on forward. So even though they get the one kill and a decent ultimate, there was no follow-up.
Would have been amazing if he was just a little bit closer there. He has the Blink Dagger available. He was playing around the great vision that
Could
they
go for a
had.
steal.
Could indeed. Seconds away from that Hawk. They're really trying to zone KP away.
It's the timing perfect. Thompson gets the Aegis Q. His blink's getting cancelled as well, so he can't jump in with the Echo Slam. He'll finally get it off, but there is no follow-up. As T1, they get the Aegis. They get the kill onto the Earthshaker as well. A great skirmish for them.
Kind of a worthless Echo Slam used as well, right? Like, not sure what the point of all that was. Maybe just some miscommunications coming through there, where he thought people would be looking to connect through onto the Roche pit, but Aegis was already claimed. There's no real point to do that, and now you've respawned. You've still got that Blink Dagger, but again, it's going to be a good 100 seconds until you can have any impact with it. Go. Timing.
They're onto Makoto. Whitemon with the instant stun. That's the blink reveal. Oh, no. Hobson is in incredibly deep. Savage is going to pounce. They've got the roar as well to hold him down. He doesn't get the activate shift off. A couple of cores getting a little bit too antsy here in this upper bracket finals.
Thompson, right? He plays on the edge. He realized that he had the Aegis and was going for that little bit of extra farm. That's why they were able to build up this net worth lead that they've got right now, going between 4 and 5k. But, you know, sometimes you can just go a little bit too deep. Static Storm and Primal Roar had to be used for it. Shadow Dance, but I want to say it was worth it. But you're still getting a kill onto Makoto. He does feel like the one that's keeping them in this game right now.
Do you remember, I think it was yesterday or maybe even the day before, we were speaking about the Beastmaster Ag Shard and maybe where it fits into the build? Well, it looks like this game, KP, he's gone for its second item. What do you feel like the reasoning is here for KP?
Question, to be honest. Maybe just the reduced cooldown, really wanting to play around the extra vision that you've got, because there's still 2 tier 1 towers up. Make sure that they've got as much vision as possible so that they can look to claim a few of these areas and make this aggressive draft that they've got come online, because up to this point, it hasn't really. Permanent Agi stacks, taking, again, 1 tower with a Beastmaster and a Helm of the Overlord at 25 minutes. Not what you want if you're Talon.
Oh no. He could be able to blink and get the hook onto KP. He's actually going to jump on the high ground as well. Ana's going to be cautious because Savage, no hesitation for the use of the BKB. He's going to be able to stack up the instance, but he's on the wrong side of the fissure. Savage just can't continue to right click. As T1, they jump with Ana, making sure that no man will go in alone.
Want to try and deal with this mid lane a little bit. Pushing out a little bit. Ana got to cut the wave as well. I think Zephyr's been the MVP this game so far. Just all of his rotations, enabling them to get kills onto the Slark, finding a way to get multi-man stuns, even just there in the team fight. With his first item, BKB, just going right on in. Not worried about the Static Storm providing.
Savage might be in trouble mid. Ana's going to jump. Oh, the pounce away. Now this is a bit deep here, but they know the BKB is on cooldown for the Slark, so it will be difficult for him to fight. And Zephyr, he's going to look to jump in. Echo slams out. Q's going to find the ultimate before they secure the kill. The damage, look how hesitant Talon are. Savage will be able to pounce back forward, and they've been able to isolate Ana. So another kill given over to Talon.
bit too deep that time around, but that was the play. That at least now they're using their ultimates around these big objectives, you know? Previously around the Roche pit, 4-man coil by Makoto wasn't followed up by any
Jump, a quick burst. Thompson's nearby to blow him up, but it's just Thompson now, alone on an island. Let's see if they're going to be able to have the control. Thompson actually might look to turn around and man fight because he has the scepter, turn it to the start. But Thompson, he's leashed together. Again, what a crazy game we got. 19 kills even between the two teams, but like both sides are going a bit too far forward on a couple of occasions.
I can understand T1 wanting to do it now that they've hit a few of their extra timings, but they're doing it solo. You know, they're not doing it as a full unit. Maybe just because you are up against these 3 great AoE teamfight ultimates in the Echo Slam, the Static Storm, and the Dream Coil, but not enough BKBs to make it not much of an issue.
Oh, great fissure timing. Cancelled the dismember, but still with the rock damage, Savage. Forced to pop a BKB. Finally get the T1 tower mid lane.
Let's open up a lot more plays. It's not really like T1 have been playing around the triangle all that much, but eventually it's going to feel like one of the safer places for Ana to be able to pick up this extra farm that he needs. But it's still lacking that BKB. Haven't really had too much item progression at all coming out of Ana in the past 5 or so minutes. Just that Ogre Axe coming through recently.
Regeneration.
Do you feel like the BKB will be enough here for Ana in a lot of these fights to enable how aggressive he's been looking to play the game?
Oh, for sure. I mean, maybe it wouldn't be so bad if he had the Hood of Defiance, but silenced a few times and he's just killing himself with the rock that's coming through.
Radiant's bottom
Like this from Talon, though. They're pushing, getting some tier 2 towers, taking advantage of KP playing one of these more aggressive heroes.
Look at the net worth lead. It's in Talon's favor now. The first time this game, the highest it got to, I think, was just a little over 5,000 for T1. Talon have been able to weather the storm, and they've been able to find a lot of defensive items as well. Lincoln's on Savage. Makoto has this Aeon Disc as well. Hyde's very close to a Scepter. These are some big item timings coming out for Talon.
Tower is under attack.
Oh, is he actually? Let's go.
Yes,
He actually went for
changed it
it.
up.
Nice.
A Philosopher's Stone is a hell of a neutral item for a Disruptor.
It's going to be really effective. Like, I like how both teams are itemizing. Obviously, the position 5 going for the Scepter. Yeah, love it, man, up my own heart. But you're going to hit these 4 BKB timings on T1 at pretty similar times. You've already got one on the Viper as well as the Marcy, but Ana on his Pudge, he's going to get one sooner rather than later, basically just the recipe component away. Thompson as well, he's at a similar level of farm, so if they could just stall things out, not lose too much more map control, then 4 BKBs, as long as you're able to dodge out getting caught pre-game BKB by the Static Storm, in a really good spot.
Okay, so you feel like that's the recipe for success here for T1? Because my concern is that Talon just have a ridiculous amount of team fight. So you feel like with the BKBs from T1, as long as they can get it off before the Static Storm and get a couple kills throughout that duration, they should be able to succeed?
Well, the ridiculous team fight is on the back of the Shaker and the Puck, right? And as long as you're BKBing, those aren't actually issues.
Maybe you can even blow them up to start the fight. You have this capability with Whitemon jumping in, or even Pudge as well. Because again, we've spoken a lot about his BKB, but now he can jump in, dismember BKB, and that's a guaranteed 3-second control where Thompson can blow them up, or maybe even Whitemon can jump in with 2 points of Finger of Death.
They want to try and find Hyde on the Disruptor. That's what they want to do. And he's now switched out the Philosopher's Stone as well into the Psychic Headband, just making sure he can get off the best.
Look at the close into the low ground. A double fissure's going to connect. Makoto's in as well. Before Stop not going to be able to reposition Ana out to the left side, and Savage will secure the kill. He gets a bunch of essence, and he's looking for more. But the bounce a little bit too slow as Wymon's able to retreat, but Talon, they're on the hunt. Oh, what the hex? Wymon, that was perfect, but the instant use of Aeon Disc Makoto, he's okay. But the rest of Talon, they had to over-position. KP, he pushed himself too far forward, but he's going to BKB still on the arsenal. They're going to turn to try and deal with Zephyr, and look at Makoto holding back Thompson as well. The consistent use of the silencers making it very difficult for the Morphling to get into the middle of the fight, and now they've got the glimpse back onto KP. They know that BKB was already utilized. They need to kite Cuckoo at the moment, though. And we'll do just
He
that.
doesn't have BKB. He doesn't have people to be able to save him. Another good team fight coming up from Talon, and every single one of those just allows Savage on that Slark to be scaling that little bit more, closing in on the Aghanim Scepter for himself, and have the extra Agi stolen per Essence Shift stack as well. Great tool of bursting down and making this Pudge the anti-synergy for T1. Suddenly don't want to be quite so tanky. Although BKB's yet to be picked up on Topson as well as Ana. Topson, the one being prioritized right now because it feels like at least he can withstand a little bit more of that damage coming through.
Can they do this? Apparently they can.
But I mean, where's your vision, you know, to make you feel comfortable in going into this? Actually, never mind, Zephyr's got vision of a pretty obvious cliff as well. Let's see exactly what's happening right now, but fast enough.
Looks like it's going to fall before they get there. Topson just completed the BKB, and look at the position from Q. They're all under vision. Q, the instant hex over the Whitemon. And now Topson, he's been able to jump straight in there. Let's see what the Morph Shake is going to be able to do. They blow up 2 on Talon before they can get the ultimate off. And now Topson, he goes out to the right side, but can't connect onto Makoto. A glimpse into the Static Storm. Topson will be fine. It's just going to cover the retreat, though, as Talon. They get the Aegis. I believe they got the Shard as well.
Yes, I think so. No one was really fitting in there at the time, I believe. He's holding on to it.
Radiant's middle
I'll
tower
just
is
say
under
so.
attack.
But yeah, at least now you've got those BKBs on Topson as well as Ana. Ana didn't have to pop his in that team fight, but losing an Aegis, obviously not ideal, right? You want Topson to be enabled to go in super deep. 20, he's got the waveform attacks targets. The Lincoln Sphere next, but certainly after that, gonna want to see a Satanic come through from him. But it feels like he feels enabled now. You know, he can look to go in. There's many suitable targets for him to morph into. The Shaker for the Morph Shaker aspect, but even the underappreciated aspect is the status resist. 40% that you're able to get going into a strength hero.
That's a very good point. Because holy sh! He's got Sanj and Yasha, and also the Titan Sliver.
Titan Sliver.
So he's already got a crapload of status resistance. Now you add on top of that if he replicates into the Earthshaker. This man is not going to be easy to kill, and you see Topson's even going for the Lincolns as well. So another defensive item. Cuckoo mid lane.
Here might need a pop.
Oh, nice 4-star. I don't think it's going to matter though. Cuckoo gets up with the BKB, and now Ana gonna try and jump into the middle. They're doing a really good job to kite the Pudge at the moment. Gets a Dismember out onto the Beastmaster. And Topson now is into the 5 horns and using the Static Storm. They're gonna try and turn it into with the Morphling. He gets the attribute shift off, and I don't think they're gonna have the damage to kill off the Morph. Topson survives, but the rest of Talon, they need to get out now. They committed a lot of ultimates as Makoto is in trouble.
Whitemon!
Hex down, bone up, thanks to Whitemon. Beautifully done on the line. You brought it up in the draft. Whitemon has got a formidable line, level 30, Grand Master, and we're seeing how much work he can do in this game.
What I'm liking from Topson is that he's adapting with it. You know, Talon have been really good at reacting to a lot of these super deep dives that he's going for, so he's not going the ultra greedy route and going in the Agi form trying to burst someone down. Is everyone okay? Seems like it, having to pop the BKB though on Zephyr. But when he's waveforming in, he's making sure that he's doing it as he starts morphing into strength, just to make sure that if there is that instant silence, that instant roar coming through, that he's actually got the survivability to be able to withstand it. Little plays like that set him apart.
Oh, that's a very aggressive link. Ana's got the rest of the team starting to connect. This is giving Savage a lot of time to be able to steal the Essence. And they get the easy kill onto Ana, but can they deal with the Slark now? Static Storm's not going to be able to protect it for the moment, and T1 do an incredible job to be able to Delta split. Down to the south though, Topson, that's where the eyes need to be if they can control the Morphling, but they won't be able to in this team fight. As Topson playing with this Slark, Aghanim's looking and pouncing into the river. Will catch up to the Disruptor, and he might be able to catch up to 23 Savage now, but back throughout the middle, Makoto in the jungle, assassinates Whitemon. Q was needed as well for the kill with the fissure. Blink up in a couple of seconds. He gets out to the left side. Where's Savage though? He's looking to reinitiate as Savage bounces out for the north. BKB's going to protect Topson, but they want to get out. Topson's out. They make the executive call to look to retreat. Do they have any stuns for Cuckoo? They do not. T1 They will survive on two of their cores, but they also lose out in the war.
Dead even, kill score, net worth. This is the entertaining game that we were wanting to see out of these upper bracket finals, and I mean, it just goes to show Whitemon, he's still playing very well. He went super deep there in onto Savage just to try and get him with the tail end there. Blinks in, goes for the mana drain, about to hit the Earth Spike, but Savage just turns around with the BKB. Oftentimes you would think that's very wasted, but you get a kill on Whitemon on the retreat, plus also the kill onto, I believe it was Cuckoo, as he tried to run away at the very end
Radiant's
there.
top tower has fallen.
Power's dropping down as well. Very clear that Savage needs that basher coming through. There's been a few times too many that they've just been able to waveform TP away or rebound TP away under the cover of the BKB. Not anymore.
Guys, you still have an Aghanim Shard in the base. Someone eat it. What's going on?
Wants to get it.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
I think you give it to Disrupt. Look, I don't particularly
It's
know.
not
It looks
as
like
good as it used
Makoto's.
to be.
Definitely not, but I feel with Slark it might have a little bit of value.
Got the enchanted quiver on the puck. Nice one. Good look to
Radiant's
Revenant's
top tower
brooch as
is
well.
under attack.
I'm a big fan.
Fan of the brooch. Smoke off from Talon. Wandering down towards T1's bottom jungle. No one is home though. Great read from T1. They're going to look to be able to get out. They push down bottom. And force Talon to show very shortly. More than likely someone's going to look to take the outpost as well. So then what can we expect out of Cuckoo in his fights? Because he's been pretty silent this game. Like 1-0-9, still flawless out of the Viper. But what is his role in the team fights?
Honestly, survive feels like the big thing that he needs to be looking to prioritize right now. Like, he didn't go for the Viper Strike DPS. He's gone for the poison attack slow. Now he's finished up the AC as well. So it's really just more about making sure Ana doesn't get blown up to provide a little bit more sustain and even the damage component through to Thompson. So I'm expecting to see him perhaps play a little bit more defensively. Hurricane Pike, BKB, AC, items that allow you to be that extra level of tank.
Savage. He's gonna walk up this high ground? He's even gonna pounce on forward. Savage still ready to take the team fight. Even though T1, they just got multiple items completed. They are ready to rock and roll. Only a 4,000 deficit. Nothing at all at this stage of the game.
T1 really want to make sure that they can retain any kind of vision control that they have on the map, and that is the one space outside of their base that like they've got the freedom to be able to play like that. Was that a fresh Linked Sphere picked up by Thompson as well? Yep. So again, he's pretty tanky in his own right, and actually up this hill a little bit here. The scout out Cuckoo's positioning with the phase shift Aghanim Shard on the puck. And they just look to rally around that vision. KP might be a little bit too far forward here. They see the boars and he's going to blink away to safety.
Yeah, they smoked on the Hawk, I'm 99% certain. So Talon, they're going to back up to their own high ground. They do not have Makoto here at the moment. Whitemon, he's just going to blind blink up with the instant bash, and Savage is not going to mess around. He'll pop to BKB, but the double full of Makoto. He'll find the coil onto 3. Where's the extra stun lock? It's going to come through for the roar. They're targeting down Zephyr at the moment. He can pounce away, but Talon, they don't want to stick around. Look at the retreat. They see the buyback instantly out of Whitemon. But the Lion, he's in. They'll get the Hex. Makoto's going to be fine with the A on disc. KP will try and TP up, but Arna's there with the dismember. They'll stop that in its tracks, as KP will be killed off. 70 seconds without the Beastmaster.
At these level of games, you've got to go for that ballsy play on Whitemon, right? Like, he goes in super deep, tries to get the instant hex when they know that the smoke's being popped, but they just had the vision advantage. He blinked just behind a tree, I believe, making it a little bit more difficult for himself. And well, with the Roche respawn, it's going to be about half of the maximum duration, 1.5 minutes when it came up. Really, right now, the main objective for T1 is just getting control around this Roshan area. Downside is they actually haven't been able to take one of these two tier 2 towers. That was one of the other weak points that we were really seeing for T1's draft, is that now it's not quite so much because Thompson, he's farmed enough that he's going to be able to just help push this mid lane in very comfortably. Didn't have any of this outpost control available to them. Now they do, and now they can look to just stick around here, look to pick someone off, although Thompson's actually going all the way back to base. If they scout this out, they might just say immediately, let's take back our jungle. You know, Roshan's about to come back up, and Thompson's not here, then have a pretty free fight.
Do we know where the times went for Talon? Because both Savage and Makoto have some very, very important level 25s.
Especially Makoto, who needs that 25. Able to get the Dream Coil piercing the spell immunity, then suddenly those 4 BKBs become quite as much of an issue. They're so low duration now as well that with the call duration being 6 seconds, you're almost guaranteed to be able to get the Static Storm off afterwards.
I'd like to see Savage get this top wave. Maybe he won't because they're smoked. Right, this should give him 25. This 25 is incredibly important against this Pudge and the Morphling as well. We're going to see Slark look to go in, steal a little bit of essence, and look to duck out. Pops it.
Photo.
Just going to try and follow up. Nice retreat from Talon. They go look to back up to the northwest side. They don't have too much vision to play with. Raiding got a great ward by the outpost, but Talon, they've recognized this.
Can't just walk up super freely like this. In a position to get picked off very
Another
quickly.
smoke.
We prioritize his survival.
Anna's taking the outpost. So Savage got the jump in.
Forward.
Great force stuff. And they get the hook. Q's in trouble now. I don't know what they're going to be able to do to be able to protect the Earthshaker. They'll try and chuck up the Death Trap, but Q's gone. He doesn't have a buyback. This is a vital team fight. Without the Earthshaker, they might be in trouble as Savage. Early use of the Shadow Dance. He's going to look to retreat. He gets the bounce, but they're going to block out the escape, and now they should be able to secure a kill. As Savage goes down, they're trying to catch up to Makoto. Thompson with the lead, just shy of getting the connection. As Makoto should escape, but they're ready to force some buybacks now on T1.
And they don't know that they've only got one available on the Slark as well, so very happy to see that it's not coming out from these supports. Very confident going forward, and look back actually. A little bit of memes coming through there saying, I don't think we need to be diving that deep, but the plus side for T1 is that Roshan is respawning as well. Just have a look at this. I mean, the hook like that just sets up the team fight so effectively. We're able to just pop the BKB. Again, Puck wasn't quite yet level 25 before that, so maybe you put the Dream Coil out there onto the Pudge and enable your Shaker to be able to get back, and then supports one by one, makes the team fight so much easier for T1 after that stage.
It's like telling they're in a position where they just have to give up this Roshan. Wait for them to contest that Slark down, the shotgun down as well. So this is his third Rosh given over to T1. Ages onto Thompson.
Refresher? Hello?
No one wants.
Anyone?
Yeah, they want to make it a fair game.
I don't know, it
Someone's
seems like
gone.
a pretty fair game so far. They're pretty even.
Dire
I
are
thought
scanning.
Thompson was going for it. But no,
So did I. I mean, if there's anything that... Having all of these active items as well as morphing into a Slark and having to press all of these buttons plus having a refresher is like a nightmare for me. Like, I have boomer hands
boomer,
and
that's-
boomer
yeah.
brain lately. Yeah. Like, I'm good at the macro play. I'm good at the overall strategy, but if you ask me to press like more than 3 buttons every 5 seconds, nah, it's not going to happen.
We have some important 25s. Thompson with his, the waveform charges, and Puck
Dire's
has completed
top
his as
tower
well.
is under attack.
They might just look to try and trade here.
Radiant's
Talon are
bottom
shoving out
tower
bottom.
is under attack.
Instead,
The
Dire's
glyph
top
though
tower has
on
fallen.
T1. They have the ability to be able to push perhaps a little bit quicker. Going to be the one coming back though. White one scout out the Roche pit.
you have to leave this top jungle very fast now. Talon look to reclaim this. They're at the moment, so they will be okay. Saw Thompson get picked off previously. That was first Roche. That was ages ago. Not gonna happen this time. See kind of the positioning. They see
You need the
Radiant's
Beastmaster
turret
there.
has
You need
been
the
killed.
Slark there as well to be able to do that. Thompson actually gets his courier killed with the TP scrolls on it, so he doesn't actually have a way to be able to get back if there is any other pushing happening
scanning.
around the map. But
Makoto. He might be able to solo kill the line. With the ward of a high ground, he sees an easy kill off. A kill off Whitemon, and he'll get out as well. Oh, Makoto. Oh, this is why you give the man the puck and another courier.
God,
Oh, Makoto.
he's legit just carrying them, man.
They're
He's doing
coming.
such a great job.
Savage, he'll get the pounce connection. Bash is out with the tank control from Q. They're going to be relying on the hook, but it clips onto Savage instead of the Viper. And there's no way they can protect Mr. Cuckoo. It's Talon. What a beautiful play for them. Down the third Roche advantage. They're just pulling them everywhere across the map, forcing T1 to make mistakes when they wouldn't expect.
New tops and
Can't believe the refresher shots inside the pit. Good.
Be what turns the game, you never know. These two teams are damn close. Both would be worthy group stage representatives, and for the one that doesn't get through, going to mean that you know, those last chance qualifiers are super spicy too. So Makoto, he's up to level 26, so he's got the Dream Core piercing the magic community. We've got the overwhelming blink, so a great way to be able to cancel out some of these blink daggers that you've got on T1 too. Quickest fingers aren't going to be able to respond to that.
Q, go in the pit. For some reason, for no reason, just go, just walk in.
Just have a look.
I like that pick up of the Iron Disc and the Shadow Blade as well. A lot just to help with his positioning, because he is incredibly important to Talon's team fight. A lot of the chain control. Have very, very good vision. Something
Imagine
that Talon...
having two static storms. Imagine having two Aeon discs. You know, if you're just able to get a free refresher shot.
It's a pretty big item. Zephyr just completed an Abyssal Blade.
So they gotta just try and find a way to pop the Aeon disc on Puck first. There is that damage that's going to actually poke. It feels like it needs to be a lucky
charge
hook
off.
through from Ana.
Middle tower
Smoke
is
doesn't pop just yet. They've got a lot of map control up into the high ground. Instantly going to try and bring them down, but they've been able to isolate the wall from here at the moment. From the cliff. They'll get rid of Zephyr. Meanwhile, Savage going to try and turn to deal with Cuckoo. Again, the Slark. He's having a free fight. He gets the bash. Cuckoo tried to TP out, but he won't be able to do so. As they've got to be cautious about the Slark now. He's stalling way too much essence for T1 to be able to address him. And Savage recognizes this. He's going to pounce into the middle. Deals with Ana, but tops him. He's a completely different beast. Still with the agents for another 30 seconds, and it looks like Talon will respect this.
Radiant's top tower is
I
falling.
was thinking maybe they might have gone for the glimpse play inside of the base, just if Thompson put himself out that little bit too far. Makoto, I think he was going for it, diving in super deep, but another one team fight this time around. That static storm, the Aghanim Scepter, means that no cheese is able to be popped. No BKB as well on Ana. Also, Glyph out here. Do an okay job of pushing out these waves, but not good enough. Used aggressively as well by Talon. They want to make this push happen. They want to invade some high ground.
Cautious. The force out the buyback. Instantly Cuckoo with the finger on the trigger. He sees it jump in. He's not messing around. There's no chance for Talon to look to bring down his carry in this game.
Thompson, a little bit deep on your own, my man. I know you're a good player, but whoop, Thompson.
We get the BKB. We're gonna be able to bounce
How lucky
out.
with the bashes.
Got the coil leash as well. Thompson, he'll break it and he'll be alright.
Top lane's pushing in, bot lane's pushing in. Someone's got to do something. With all of that vision from the illusory orb, or maybe they could have gotten the glimpse, but still on cooldown for a couple of seconds. Now KP's in as well. He wants the refresher for himself, just to be able to get that double roar off. Even more Hawks, more dive bombs coming through to be able to pop that Lincolns.
Double roar control is just going to be so much lockdown for the Slark.
But what if it was triple? What if it was triple if they had a refresher?
I keep looking. I think every minute I go back and look if that shard is still in the pit.
Get into the Abyssal Blade as well for Savage. It's more of that vital lockdown. Right one, again, going for the clutch plays. You gotta go for that sort of stuff, right? Even if it's just popping the Aeon Disc, it means that the next fight is actually winnable, but have that consistent lockdown to be able to kill Makoto if he's got that to be able to play around.
I think for T1 in a lot of these fights, the supports you got to kill them. The shot through and Earthshaker are giving them way too much lockdown. It's going to be a little bit different now, of course, with the refresher on the Beastmaster, but this is just props to Q and along with Hyde as well with their itemization. Like Hyde, he went 8th Lens Blink to help with his positioning. Q, again, Blink Shadow Blade. Force Staff as well. Aeon Disc, another defensive item. Like, they are just recognizing these heroes have to play so far in the backline to make sure that T1 don't get this numbers advantage, because that's the name of the game for them. You know, Thompson to get the Earthshaker replicate more than likely, blow up a support, and then go from there as Anna's playing with fire.
Just gets the blink away. I mean, to me, it's Hyde specifically. Like, Q obviously is influential with the Shaker. He's level 20 now, so he's got an even greater Fisher range. But
They say Thompson
Hyde
on
is the one.
reward. Thompson bounces out the Basher's volley, doesn't get the attribute shift, but the hook from Anna! It'll break the coil. First roar, they're set up for the second roar as well. Do they have the damage to be able to kill off the Morphling? Echo Slam dropped on the dome! They'll get the kill, but they committed a lot for the first life. An instant buyback in Talon, they're happy with that. They'll get out, and there is a gigantic win condition now for the side of Dire.
Half duration on the Roche respawn as well. No one chose to check it. It just had the possibility of respawning. Actually be the first one to do so. Having another usage of all those roars would be absolutely phenomenal for KP if he's able to get that one. It does cause them to commit a lot, and oh, that rune. Have to imagine that that's going to lead to whoever sees it first want to check that Roche pit. He's gone into Radiance on Ana, just trying to provide a little bit of that dodge coming through as well.
Oh, Anna?
Hey!
Met you once.
And they've just scouted it with the Hawk as well. There you go. Gives it to Thompson. My worst nightmare is fulfilled with all these buttons that I would have to press if I was playing as Morphling, but Thompson's a different beast. He would have no trouble at all.
What's the call? Anna very far forward. They're going to look to jump in and try and deal with the Pudge for the moment. Savage bashes out. They've been able to isolate him. Static Storm's going to get dropped as well. They want to take Anna out of the team fight, but they're going to be cautious about Thompson. He brought back prior. Operation keep the Morphling alive, but the coil, it won't allow him to get into the middle. Talon, the disciplined gameplay. As soon as they see the buyback, they're going to look to retreat. But in fact, Makoto is into the middle. And Aeon Disc will buy him some time. He's able to get out to the left. Meanwhile, it's like a rigger. Anna on his own. Just pull back. Anna, not like this. Jeez, it will not matter. He's got another round of the BKB. Thompson's here as well, but the Echo Q into the river, but they might still be able to get Savage. Slark's gone. T1, can they do it? At 3 against 5, Thompson against the world. Makoto should be able to kill off the line, but can they catch up to the Morphling? Gonna look to TP out of the triangle. They don't have any vision of the morph at the moment. So Thompson will escape, but Talon into the Roche they go.
Now it's the safe play for sure, especially with Savage buying back. Yeah, scale even further, but Makoto, man, he is doing so much this game. He went into the Revenant's Brooch as well. So there's no even defensive items that they could look to go down in terms of the Ghost Scepter, just to try and prevent Slark from getting it onto them. No Nullifier picked up just yet. It's just doing so much damage against the Morphling. If he's in the full Agi form, if he hasn't popped the BKB, it's just really significant what Makoto is able to output here. Take the negative scepter on him. Now look at the net worth on Makoto, man.
Back shot he's got.
Yep.
Oh,
eat it.
Much
Eat
obliged.
it.
I get
Yes.
Slark, I think.
Oh, Slark needed more vision at nighttime.
Alright, now on it for 50 seconds. See what Savage wants to do. An early use of the Shadow Dance. The longest cooldown.
Radiant's middle tower is under
Makoto's just going to be up to space making. Does he have Aeon Disc back up?
Radiant's middle tower.
15 seconds. They're probably going to need to somehow pop their Aeon Disc and then look to play the team fight afterwards. Or you can just wait for the barracks and have Ana spawning up shortly. Should only be... I don't even think they'll get the full set.
You'll be happy enough with them, Amelia. We're at the stage of the game where...
Cuckoo's into tower. Nice spawning ripped into the fissure. Savage going to jump under the T4 towers. They're going to try and turn to deal with KP instead. The Ant is protecting up the Beastmaster for the moment. They're going to toss him back inside the base. KP protected with the cheese, but he's falling lower and lower. They can't even kill off the Beastmaster though until Ana jumps into the middle. They've got the damage finally to secure the kill, but Savage is out to the right side. A 1-for-1, but can they go back in on Talon? You've got the Age's advantage still, but Thompson is isolated inside the lane. Static Storm's gonna get laid down. Arna's gonna jump into the middle as well. They don't have the damage to deal with Thompson, but the Essence shift, it's starting to stack up, and Savage isn't doing too much damage. Thompson gets away from out to the left side, but Savage, he'll pursue him down. The bounce is there, but he's gotta be cautious though. He's gotta be cautious here on Savage. He's got the A on disc. They might be able to kill up the first time, but can they kill him a second time? And it doesn't look like that's the case. It's Makoto. He's had a completely free fight. This puck has done so